What does it actually take to design the perfect cybersecurity lesson? Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something totally fascinating. We've got our hands on an incredibly detailed master prompt designed to build the absolute, ultimate, premium-level ethical hacking masterclass. If you've ever wondered how top-tier educational content is structured, or how AI is leveraged to generate comprehensive, professional-grade curriculums, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to examine the source material of a prompt built to teach cybersecurity reconnaissance and extract the complete anatomy of a perfect lesson. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 6 key areas: the master blueprint, theory and live practice, the professional edge, career growth and certifications, AI and future threats, and finally, putting knowledge to the test. Let's get into it.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the master blueprint.
So we're taking this massive list of 27 specific course requirements and shaping them into a really digestible journey. And get this, the scope here explicitly targets just Week 2, Day 8 Reconnaissance in a much broader ethical hacking curriculum. But it sets an incredibly high bar. The prompt literally demands the persona of a senior cybersecurity engineer and ethical hacker with over 20 years of experience. You know, it doesn't just want a teacher. It requires the multifaceted perspective of an absolute industry veteran. Someone who's been a SOC analyst defending the network, a penetration tester breaking into it, and a digital forensics expert picking up the pieces. This specific combo, it ensures the content is battle-tested from every single angle. And the target length for this script, strictly set between 30 to 60 minutes. For a single day's lesson on just reconnaissance, this runtime is basically the pedagogical sweet spot. It gives beginners enough breathing room to really absorb these complex concepts without feeling rushed, right? But at the same time, it packs in the serious rigor and depth that seasoned pros absolutely expect from a premium masterclass. Moving right along to Section 2, Theory and Live Practice. Now, an effective lesson can't just be a giant wall of text, and it definitely can't be some chaotic showcase of hacking tools without any context. The instructor is literally mandated to deliver complete theory using visual explanations and text-based diagrams. Crucially, they have to kick things off with a professional introduction that explicitly establishes why this topic matters before even touching the mechanics. By leveraging visuals and locking in that core why up front, it caters to all sorts of learning styles and really grounds these abstract ideas in your mind before you ever type a single command. But here's the kicker. That deep theory is instantly contrasted with immediate, hands-on application. Because let's face it, knowing the theory of reconnaissance isn't enough, you actually have to execute it. The source text explicitly requires both a practical demonstration and a live lab. This structure completely pulls the lesson out of the abstract and drops it into a concrete, sandboxed environment. It means learners can safely practice deploying these powerful tools in real time without risking accidental damage or, crossing any ethical lines. Next up is Section 3, the professional edge. Look, anyone with a textbook can teach you basic definitions, but this blueprint demands true, gritty industry context. We're talking industry best practices, professional workflows, real-world examples, and maybe most importantly, common mistakes. Teaching students how to avoid critical errors is just as vital as teaching them how to use the tools. In cybersecurity, one simple mistake during reconnaissance can literally lead to legal trouble or accidentally alert your target. So this requirement bridges that crucial gap between academic learning and real-world hacking. It shows you exactly how a 20-year veteran actually operates in the trenches without getting caught or compromising a client. Yet right alongside all that advanced high-level context, we find this incredibly strict directive. Explain everything in very simple English so beginners can understand. It's basically the Feynman technique in action, right? Despite requiring complex professional-grade depth and hardcore malware analysis workflows, it insists on completely accessible language. It proves that true mastery isn't about hiding behind fancy technical jargon. It's about making the most complex ideas incredibly clear to anyone. Let's pivot to Section 4, Career Growth and Certifications. A great technical lesson shouldn't just exist in a vacuum. The prompt forces the curriculum to tie all this rigorous knowledge directly to actionable career insights. Whether we're looking at foundational certifications like Security Plus and CEH, or highly advanced defensive credentials like OSCP and PNPT, the learning doesn't just stop at passing a test. No way. The curriculum has to include interview questions to actually help you land the job, a distinct perspective for independent freelancers, real client project examples, and legit salary roadmaps. It perfectly aligns the educational content with your actual real-world professional ambitions. Which brings us to Section 5, AI and Future Threats. Cybersecurity is famously a constant arms race. The attackers get smarter, so the defenders have to get smarter. To address this, the lesson has to integrate cutting-edge context. It mandates discussions on how AI tools are completely revolutionizing reconnaissance as we speak. It requires the instructor to cover the absolute latest cyber attacks happening out there in the wild right now, and to discuss the future scope of the entire field. This kind of future-proofing ensures your knowledge isn't obsolete the second you finish the course. You're actively preparing for where the industry is going, not just where it's been. And finally, Section 6, putting knowledge to the test. So how exactly does a 20-year veteran ensure their students have actually mastered all this incredibly dense material? Well, the prompt sequences a rigorous, multi-tiered testing phase. First up, a solid summary and references to really ground the learning. Then, homework. That's followed by a substantial 20-question quiz to test theoretical recall. But true mastery requires synthesis, right? So it mandates a mini project, followed by a massive full project execution. This intentional escalation, moving from simple recall to hands-on applied synthesis, guarantees that you're not just passively watching, you're actively forging new, real-world skills. Which brings us to our final takeaway. When you take a step back and realize that this overwhelming architectural blueprint, the theory, the live labs, the career mapping, the AI tool analysis, the rigorous projects, is literally just for week 2, day 8 of the course, wow. It really leaves you wondering just how massive the complete journey to becoming a true cyber expert actually is. If this much detail goes into one single day of reconnaissance, are you truly ready to see what the rest of the bootcamp holds? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.